Welcome to the Film Photography Podcast. I'm here in Columbus, Ohio at the Milo Arts Center, and I'm with Mr. Matt Marrash. Hey, Matt.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Mr. Owen McCafferty.
Hey, hey.
We're going to be discussing 126 film photography today. No one cares. And Matt's going to be talking about grants.
Not 126.
And residencies.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very exciting. Let's get right into it.
Great.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah, sell me on it, Mike.
126 film photography. They're, generally speaking, they're Instamatic box cameras, just like your point and shoots from that are 35 millimeter point and shoots of today. And there's also a handful of single lens reflex, more advanced cameras. But the most important thing to know, if you have one of these and like, your grandpa or grandma gave it to you, or if you find this at a thrift, many people find the classic Kodak Instamatic cameras at a thrift store. That film is not currently available, and there are really only three choices. All of them, other than buying expired film on eBay.com, look for Kodak Gold 200, Verichrome pen, which is black and white, or Solaris color negative film.
Who's Solaris?
Solaris is Film Ferrania.
Oh, okay, okay.
And those are the newest, like those are dated like 2004.
I tell you what, I have an eBay alert for Solaris.
Yes.
I can't remember the last time it's come up on the market.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, they're hard to find, but don't unless you're just using it to test a camera. Don't get Kodacolor 2 film. Don't get Kodachrome film because you won't be able to get it developed.
Yeah, so like the really old yellow orange boxes, like just pass.
Yeah. So that's just and for that. You buy that vintage film, you literally pop it in your camera, you're ready to go. The film has a backing paper, so you advance your film till you get to the number one. Number one. And that's it. You shoot, and then just send your film to thedarkroom.com to get it developed. It's simple as that. However, since there's so little of that out there, the other options are to either buy an old roll of film, and so this is where it becomes a project, and it becomes like a fun DIY. Well, not fun for everybody. A fun DIY project. You crack open that
a film photography project.
Yeah,
if it were.
Exactly.
You
might say.
You crack open that cartridge, and literally inside is the old film and backing paper. You take the old film out, and in the dark, you strip in 35 millimeter film.
Oh, onto the old backing paper.
Onto the old backing paper. It will not work seamlessly in all cameras. Some it works beautifully.
Why is that?
Because of the pin system in the back of the camera.
Yeah, does anybody have any raw 126 they can like?
Right here.
I don't, but that's the pin. And the thing is, the pin, like every camera's pin, different.
Here, let me hold that. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah. We don't need to see Owen. Just the perfect. Oh, great.
See, but
Right here is a pin.
then there's that pin.
Oh,
that's
Crunchy.
so that will probably rip through.
well, now it's okay.
Now it's okay.
Did you use this with 35 millimeter? That's why it was so
Yep.
crunchy?
I'm telling you.
Will it
had problems with 35 in my X15.
So I guess what I need to tell everyone out there is that there's no buy this film, pop it in your camera, and shoot. This is a project, whereas you need to have a few cameras in your arsenal.
Okay.
Because it may not work in this camera, but it's going to work great in your other camera, or not.
So this is the all right, I want to try something different, but I don't want to spend a lot on it, but
Right.
I have some time I can put into it, right? That's what
Yes,
you're kind of saying? Okay.
absolutely. Yeah. So, so the basics is buy an old cartridge, crack it open, re-strip in 35 millimeter film in the dark. By the way, we have tutorials on how to do this on the Film Photography Project YouTube channel.
Oh, great.
The other most popular option is to buy what's known as a Facmatic 35 millimeter to 126 cartridge. It's made by the great Claudio at Camera Hack in Italy, and it comes apart, and you just basically spool in 35 millimeter film. Also, we have a video for that. Will that work in all cameras? Absolutely not.
All right, I know we've talked about this in other FPPs. How long has this been cooking, Mike? Like, how long has 126 been in the background here at FPP?
Oh, since
I think. And I would
oh
say
my God!
At least every other day we talk about 126 for the past 4 years.
So we're recording this podcast we're recording this in April 2024.
Mm-hmm.
I have been shooting only 126 since January.
Wow. But I
So-
mean, like, I feel like
Oh, no,
I feel like
it's
old
been-
FPPs.
Yeah, no,
There's
so-
126 involved.
Yeah,
So-
Mark Delzal got really into 126 in like 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, but it goes back, when the Factmatic became available, and the FPP is the only distributor of the Factmatic in the U.S.
Okay.
When the Factmatic came in, that's when I became obsessed with it. And I say obsessed from the reason being is the cameras were hand-me-downs from my parents. And like this is Aunt Pat's camera.
Oh, Aunt Pat.
Yeah.
Nice.
This means something to me. That's very like this means something to me. I want to shoot with Aunt Pat's camera, and luckily I've been able to get it to work. But we were so obsessed with 126 that FPP listeners, Ian Fleming in the UK,
Okay.
and another listener who prefers to remain anonymous, they actually started perfing unperforated 35 millimeter film and sending it to the FPP in care packages, saying, "Hey, Mike." Ian probably sent it 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Mike, check, I did this.
Ian had a similar experience as I did when I tried to talk to Mike about a new film format.
in our
about 3 years.
In our previous episode, we mentioned, you have thought.
So yeah, like 126, perfing it yourself. Like that's how many perfs are in like a frame of?
Per frame.
Oh, it's only one.
One per frame. Yep.
Yeah,
So that
one-
seems more manageable.
it's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches apart. Oh, go ahead, take it away.
Oh.
Oh, he's got charts.
Oh my God, there's
31
graph
Hold
paper.
that up.
They're 31 millimeters apart. So this is, we can get to this, but so
The folks that have sent their perf film are going to be so happy to know
that's
that we opened their package.
so yeah. The perfs are about 30 or 31 millimeters apart. But do you want to talk about like what we're doing to try to bring 126 back?
Sure. So when you send a package to the FPP, like Ian and the other gentleman, literally, I mean, everyone at the FPP knows this, especially Leslie. If you send a package to FPP, it could take literally 2 years.
Yeah, it's Raiders of the Lost Ark there
Yes.
at the film studio.
I was cleaning the movie area of the FPP, and I found the other gentleman's package. It was in a box. It was not open, but on the side it said 126. I was like, holy smokes, what is this?
And bless Ian's heart because he even wrote a blog about how he sent it to the FPP and he was excited for the.
Oh no.
Do you know how to get to the blog?
I do know how to get the blog.
Okay. So Ian sent perforated. He had unperforated Portra 160 and some Orwo UN54 black
Okay.
and white, unperforated, and he has a home perfing system for himself.
And he does describe on his blog how you
Yeah.
can do it at home too.
The other gentleman, same thing. He devised his own home system, and he's no longer doing it, but he figured it out, sent us a 3-page proposal, which we did not open for 2 years.
Oh no.
And then when we recently emailed him, I'm like, hey, yeah, we really appreciate blah, 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 so blah, blah. He's like, I'm not working on that project anymore. So, it inspired Owen
Yeah.
to investigate and do some purchasing on some perfing systems. Want to briefly talk about that?
Yeah. So, like Mike, I've been obsessed with 126 for years, and I used to shoot 126 all the time when Ferrania used to still make it. They were the last manufacturer under the Solaris brand. And for years, I've been trying to figure out how to do it. There are 2 companies we know of that actually have the machines to perf 126. One of them is Ferrania, which they publicly have acknowledged that they have the machinery. Fortunately, they just don't really have the capacity to do it right now. There's another company, I will say, it's also in Europe. I won't say who they are, but they're in Europe. They used to manufacture 126. They've also confirmed they have the machinery, but again, it's one of those things that they just
Not on a production line.
not on a production line. So the question is, how can we do it? How can the FPP do it? So I reached out to a company that makes custom punches.
Okay, for like printing and stuff.
I sent them the dimensions of the perf and how it needs to fit on the film and sketched all that out, and they are currently manufacturing that for us. And then, in addition, I started to design, which is I have my notes here, design a system that I can use to lay the film down in order to perf it. I'm also scanning the original 126 cartridge on a 3D scanner so that we can get an actual CAD file to be able to then, if we decide one
Possibly.
day that we want to actually produce the new cartridges, that we could do that too. So it's in the works, and it's certainly no disrespect to Ian and this other gentleman who did some great work, and those are certainly great efforts. But as Mike said, the biggest issue with 126, and I think the reason people aren't shooting it, is that it's because you don't have the actual real perfs.
For every camera.
For every camera. It's really tough, and people get frustrated because it doesn't work in their camera.
The only thing is, I don't want folks to get their hopes up they're going to be able to buy a boxed roll of 126 film. This is still going to be a DIY project, but we're going to get over the first hurdle of perfing film so it actually works in every camera seamlessly.
Yep.
You will still need to go into your dark bag or your dark room and either put it in the Facmatic, which Ian sent me film. Never in a million years would I thought that the Facmatic adapter would work in the original Kodak 100. But it does. It works seamlessly. Yeah. I take the picture, advance, and then it just stops on its own. That's breaking news for any 126 shooters that are currently using the Facmatics and struggling with their, because 35 millimeter has so many perfs. It's like, it's doing it. You see that?
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
So in many respects,
that's your film tearing. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
In many respects, did your camera actually almost get ruined by using
my brand new 15F?
Yeah.
Was ruined by that cartridge you sent me.
It's not the cartridge that ruined it, it's the film.
No, typical. He's not going to blend. Yeah, you're right.
No, it's the film. It's the perfing on the film.
It's the film. It's exactly
so that's what we're working on. I mean, as you said, Matt, our name is Film Photography Project.
Yeah.
These projects take years of research out of love. I mean,
well, and it's because we are not like a giant operation.
No,
like
it's not
this
scalable.
This is
No.
it here. Yeah.
This research and development is not like being monetized. Like we can't monetize it. Like when we're done with our project, literally, it's like the 16 millimeter movie magazine. Like either Owen at home is going to literally devise like a punch that literally comes down and punches one roll at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Dunk.
Right, that's the end game. I mean, here's the ideal situation is that we create enough,
buzz.
focus and buzz that the two companies that actually can produce this in a scalable way,
Right.
notice.
Can at least say, hey, here's our price for this.
And then they don't even bother to contact us or tell us they're releasing the product, and we find out the product's being released the day it's released.
Yeah.
We'll find out 2 years later because someone will buy some and send it into FPP.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, 126 is a format that it's what got me interested in photography. I used to buy Solaris film by the case.
Yeah.
The only reason I knew it went out, just like pack film. When pack film, all of a sudden, I ran out of my case of pack film. I went to go buy it, and it wasn't $7 a pack anymore because it was gone, and that was.
So options in the meantime until we could find. We don't even know a facility. Any of these big companies, they may be able to perf the film, but I don't think they have the machines to pack. Well, maybe for
don't know.
Yeah, we don't know if anyone has the machine to have an actual cartridge pre-made.
But again, I think the cartridge and the spool issue. I mean, I was very easily able to sketch that up in CAD. I mean, that's not rocket science. It's the perfing and the assembly.
Yeah, it's the industrial part of the process that is going to be the thing that holds back, and that's really just been the whole story of film.
Yeah.
It's adapting to a market that is 1 to 2 orders of magnitude smaller than it ever was, and you can't just pick something up and assume it's going to have all of that infrastructure that it used to have.
Exactly. 126 is a really simple format. But I think if these film companies see the demand, then I think that they'll consider it because it's 35 millimeter film. It's just perfed a little different.
It's not even being considered by any company right now. There's no connect in these companies understanding that there are literally millions of cameras around the world in every country.
Every country, yeah.
It's the same thing as 110 film. There's millions of cameras, but it just so happens that Lomography has the machine.
And they were smart enough to realize that
they really held together 110 for much longer than I even thought, and it's like, but
now they have the brand new camera.
Yeah, and think about that. Like, how long did that push take? That's like 12 years in the making from
2011
their marketing. Yeah,
thank God, because that format would be gone. I mean, it would just like 126 or disc film.
Yeah.
We don't talk about disc film.
That's
No, dead.
No, I don't get much communications regarding disc film or APS film, but it's like those are intermediate formats that will never come back, and rightly so. Seriously.
Probably not. I mean, disc film, I just don't know
No.
how you would do it. I think APS, if somebody really wanted to, they could bring it back.
Why?
I agree. I don't know why. But.
I think the only reason for it would be like there are a certain subsect of machines that just support it, but like haven't really used it in a long time. That's it.
Our YouTube channel, Film Photography Project YouTube channel, is everyone's go-to place for 126. We have lengthy camera reviews, how to load vintage cartridges, how to load the Facmatic, which, options in 2024 and beyond. Mm-hmm. And we'll let everyone know in a few months of how our little project.
Yeah, keep your eye on the store, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Ideally, we like to offer a kit where someone could buy a little roll of literally film in a black canister that you would load in the dark into your reused cartridge or your Facmatic.
Okay.
Load it in, and you're ready to go in any camera. So that's the goal for this year. And hey, we have to take baby steps.
That's right. Just like Bill Murray on What About Bob? Baby step it.
So we'll be right back.
Baby steps? It means setting small, reasonable goals for yourself, one day at a time.
Will Blossom's Coffee ever please the lumberjacks?
It's a better coffee.
It better be.
It's Folgers Coffee Crystals, see? It sparkles, and it's much darker and richer than this regular instant or this freeze-dried. It's newer than freeze-dried. Ah, come on, fellas. Say something.
Blossom, tastes so good you hate to put it down.
Folgers Coffee Crystals.
Hey, we're back. Matt Marrash just let me know yesterday about a residency, and I'm not up on. I'm like, is it like an internship, a residency? Is it like a grant?
Home?
Yeah. So, and I think a lot of film photographers just may not know these things actually exist. Mm-hmm. So, Matt, take it away.
So last year, so 2023, I had like this laundry list of things I wanted to like start to do because 2 years ago now I went freelance. So I don't work at the camera store. I barely do like workshops there, sometimes like once in a blue moon. But a lot of it's like solo now. So freelance life is interesting. I've got some, I've got gigs here and there, but I will have like some good chunks of free days. So I've started to do more like longer form workshops, and I set a goal for myself to start doing residencies.
Right.
And residencies or like AIR programs, so artist in residence programs, are a really great way to like give yourself time to work on a project. So the whole like idea of the artist in residency program is you've got just getting Owen, you get a little B-roll of Owen doing that. But the whole idea of an artist in residency program is you are applying to usually go somewhere. Some programs will pay the way or kind of meet you on the way. Others, it's kind of like you're paying to stay there, almost like an Airbnb type thing. But the artist in residency is like you are at a space, usually somewhere that's not your own personal like artist space. Some supplies can be provided. Sometimes there's an educational component, but the whole goal is to go out and create. And some places will have more stipulations. Maybe it's because you're like a nature photographer. Maybe it's because you have like funky processes or whatever. And the whole end goal is for you to go and create and then produce a limited body of work that then you either gift as like a return for your time and effort, or it's a paid residency where like you're keeping this nonprofit space going by paying a small fee to like cover some of that. So, but it ranges anywhere from like glorified paid adult daycare or like college type scenario to like, no, this is full paid everything. So, Mike, I know I've been on the show for years, like talking about like the grant stuff, like check your local municipalities for opportunities. The artist in residency thing was just that next level that I never had access to because I was working 9 to 5 for so long, and I just never had those large swaths of time. So residency programs can last anywhere from like a week to like years. So it really depends on what you're trying to do. But there are AIR programs that are available at a lot of the national parks in the United States. So the nps.gov website has like resources for that. But then you can also just search for AIR programs in your state or internationally. But basically, just like anything, the further you branch out, the more competition there is. And these are always competitive things. But I will say, the good ones don't pay money. Like, like, you should not be paying money to apply to a thing or to like go to the thing, because that's not really competitive. That's just if you have a credit card that will swipe, you'll get to go.
If you're in a certain tax bracket.
Exactly. Oh, I've seen a lot of those on these air programs. But long story short, Mike, I set it as a goal, and the worst thing I did was I applied to a lot of them, and I got a few.
Okay.
A few, not just one. So I went to this amazing place. I've actually taught there once before with Stephen Takis. It's this place in Asheville, North Carolina called the Penland School of Craft. So it's entirely a craft school in the mountains where you go to learn different trades, or not really trades, but different like fine crafts like metalworking, glass blowing, painting,
and stuff like that.
yeah. There's a whole place for fabric on, or
Is that the same school that you can also get like a BA?
they do have accredited programs as
That
well.
was on this old house, by
It
the way.
probably was. They've been there for over 100 years, so it makes sense. And they have a giant photo facility. And the first time I was there, I kind of like I helped out Stephen Takis, and we did a dry plate tin type workshop for a couple weeks there. And they put us up, and they fed us, and it was just like this really interesting thing. And everything's like unlocked except your dorms, so you like come and go, kind of a hippie vibe. But they also, when I was there, they're like, "Hey, you seem to really like this." Of course I did. They have an amazing darkroom. They're like, "Hey, you really like this? You should look at our residency programs." And they're like, "It's a lot more competitive, but like, they actually will give you a small stipend if you run the facilities." So I would maintain the darkroom, but then I would get 2 weeks to work on my own project in the winter. Kind of like, it's almost like summer camp, or I guess in this case winter camp, but like. It's summer camp for like adults with ADD, really. Or like summer camp for like art school kids that grew up. It's really what it is. And you go and work on a project, and you state what the project is. There's some people that have been going for years to finish a long form project. There was these wonderful photographers there that were working on a book, and they were like in their third year of like working on it and everything. So there's just so many different ways you can approach a residency program, but really this is just to say, check them out, apply for them. The good ones, you really don't have to pay, and the really, really good ones, there's probably a scholarship. There's probably something you can sign.
Yeah.
Yes, we should be getting paid for this stuff. Not just FPP, but like you at home, if you are putting the effort into this stuff, see if there are alternative ways to kind of get some value out of your camera, tell a better story with the camera, and maybe even go somewhere cool. So this isn't just like a brag, but like I applied last year, not thinking I'd get one of them. I was at Penland for 2 weeks. I'm going to be up in the Upper Peninsula in Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh wow, beautiful.
Through May, and then I just found out a couple weeks ago, Mike, I'm going to be down in here at home. I'm going to be in Hocking Hills in a cabin for a couple weeks in September. So I went from 0 to 3.
They didn't have any in Parma, Ohio? No?
There's actually some really good ones up in Northeast Ohio. I know the print room used to host a residency as well. So like you just have to look, and that's the biggest thing. I hate gatekeeping. So the secret to all of this is like look up air programs. So it's usually like capital A, lowercase I, capital R, air programs, and look at nps.gov, so the National Park Service. Look at your local arts council. Just check it out. And if they want you to pay a lot of money for it, it's an Airbnb with extra steps. But there's really good ones that are paid. They're competitive, but really you just have to like write about what you're going to do. So, talk about yourself a little bit, showcase your work, and oftentimes there's really cool things. Like the one I'm doing really soon in Sault Ste. Marie is there's a darkroom in the basement. So I'm staying in a cabin with a darkroom in the basement, and I'm like walking to...
They're paying you to be there.
That one is like they're just they're providing the space.
Okay.
But they're providing me a darkroom and
free.
chemicals.
It's free.
All I have to do is give them a print. And I mean, I'm happy to do that, but I'm also going to be doing a small workshop while I'm there. So I'm going to talk about black and white photography, go shoot, experience the lovely Upper Peninsula, maybe see the Northern Lights while I'm up there. And like, you can get like kind of a working vacay out of this, but check it out, not just selfishly, but like to create a body of work. You can like do something, with the camera that is outside of maybe a small like personal project, or finish that larger project that maybe you didn't have the time for. These
resources,
these are great ways to explore, explore new places. Air programs are that. The nonprofit sector is kind of where that's going.
I sit on 2 not-for-profit boards. I run a not-for-profit. I can tell you there is so much grant money out there that's just for any kind of art, not just photography.
Yeah.
That's just sitting there that nobody knows about.
There's
Like,
so many steps though to it,
there
and I
is.
think that's really what.
intimidating.
Yeah, I wanted to do this segment to like tell people they exist, but there is work. I'm not saying it's easy.
You have to, anything you want to do in your life, regardless of what art form it is, there's work involved. And if if you can work and work towards your art, those are the people that are going to reap the benefits of it. Yeah. There's no easy in any art. There's no easy. You have to work hard at it.
No, and there's no rule sets for this. So like, there's another old website that I will shout out. It's super old. It's older than the FPP store. It's like.
Hey, what is that? What's that supposed to mean?
You know what it means. It's called Cafe or callforentry.org. So callforentry.org. It's for like applying to artist shows, but they also have artists in residencies that basically you can get on their mailing list and they'll send you like kind of an annoying amount of things.
Correspondence, yeah.
To let you know.
Is it like a geosites or?
It's not geosites bad, but it's like it's old. But anyway, I'm on there. And I just hit ignore on the emails I don't want to see. But I found out about the one in Sault Ste. Marie because
You were on that site.
I was on that site and I said, send me air programs when they open up. Because when I started looking, it was lockdown and
Nobody's doing
lots of
anything.
people were canceling their programs. But now they're opening back up and I set up alerts. So if they come up, they'll send me a thing. And folks at home, it's not like I applied to 3 and got 3. No, I set this, it was a goal. So I literally probably spent like 4 8-hour days combing websites.
It's like looking for a job.
Looking at, yes, it really is. You're looking for a very poorly paid but cool part-time job. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And
a government employee,
yeah. There was actually less water cooler conversation than at a government job, so it was pretty cool. But it was worth it because I'm getting to go to these really cool places. I'm getting time to work with my my big ass cameras that I don't normally. And one of these, Mike, I'm doing some 16 millimeter while I'm there
Excellent.
too. So I think folks should just check it out. Even if you don't consider yourself an artist with the camera, that's baloney. You are an artist. You're putting in this effort. You're doing something really funky and weird. Because the only time you see other film shooters a lot of time is like here doing this stuff. Mm-hmm. Apply. You might not think your stuff is great or unique. Just put the application out there.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't cost you anything to do it, you've got nothing to lose but time.
Yeah,
so
exactly. That's what they should do.
instead
So
of flicking through TikTok, you could be looking
yes,
for a job.
yeah. I have. All right, no, that's another great point. Owen, I've never gotten a big commercial client, anything through the social media stuff. It comes from the website
And networking.
and yes, and like going out and doing the things. So the worst that can happen is no, and maybe some of the super competitive programs you may lose like $10 or $20 or whatever. Skip the fancy coffee.
Yeah, 2 IPAs.
Yeah, and you'll be able to apply to it. But check it out.
Avocado toast, you millennials.
Yes.
I've been making my own for years. Mike, what do you think?
I think this is great. I think people should.
Time.
Yeah, we're out of time. I think people should. What do you have to lose except a little bit of time to look up this stuff?
FPP going to do a residency?
Maybe. Who knows?
They stay with you at your condo?
We'll save it for the show.
They're going to stay in the vault?
They just stay in the vault. Yeah, down in the basement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we've run out of time.
Oh, my gosh.
But podcast at filmphotographyproject.com. Please leave, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think, and we'll hopefully be back very soon.
With 126 film.
That's right. So, cool. Hey, thanks, everybody.
Thanks for coming.
by UFOs.